Peace and love, Ready Nation. This is Tamara T. Bush coming to you with another video. I got a question regarding the bankruptcy, so I wanted to hop on and just provide some clarity as I understand it on this subject matter. Please know that I'm not an attorney, I'm not an accountant, and no information that I share on this channel is to be taken as legal advice. Definitely do your own due diligence and do your own research regarding this topic, and definitely cover yourself when trying to execute any strategy, right? Okay, so today I am coming out of the Federal Rules of Bankruptcy Procedure. I'm on Cornell Law website, which you all know that's usually where I am. But I wanted to speak about the bankruptcy and how it actually ends up on your consumer report. And what does the bankruptcy procedure say in terms of sharing, your private information, right? So this code is very, very extensive, but there's two sections or two rules that I'm going to focus on this evening, right? So we're going to go to rule number 1005. That's going to be the first one that we look at, right? And so let me read. So the caption of a petition commencing a case under the code shall contain the name of the court, the title of the case, and the docket number. The title of the case shall include the following information about the debtor: name, employer, identification number, the last four digits of the Social Security number or individual debtor's taxpayer identification number, any other federal taxpayer identification number, and all names used within 8 years before filing the petition. If the petition is not filed by the debtor, it shall include all names used by the debtor which are known to the petitioners. Now, we're going to put a pin in this particular section, rule number 1005, because there are some things that I want to bring to your attention, right? Now, I don't know how long you all have been following me, but if you followed me, back in the beginning when I started doing my YouTube videos, I spoke specifically about the structure of your consumer credit report. And so I teach that there should be one name, one address, one employer, and one telephone number listed on your consumer report. Any old, outdated information, we would want to get that removed. If there's any variations of your name that does not currently appear on your driver's license, then that should be removed because it's inaccurate and it's just inaccurate. Any address that is not your current address should be removed, right? And in addition to that, your employer. So if there's any old employers on your consumer report, those should also be removed. And there's a reason behind ensuring that all of your information is 100% accurate and up to date, right? If a creditor is reporting inaccurate information in terms of a variation of a name that you do not use, and that account becomes derogatory, the first thing that I would do in terms of trying to get that item removed from my consumer report is to correct what they're reporting, right? So if your name is John Henry Doe and they're reporting it as Jim Henry Doe or John Harry Doe, then we know that that's an inaccuracy. Now, it's important to take note of this because, again, if you're trying to get a derogatory item removed off of your consumer report and it's connected to old, outdated information, if you remove the information, it would be a lot easier to remove the derogatory item. And so this rule 1005 is really evidence of that, because when you look at it, it's specifically stating all names used by the debtor which are known to the petitioners within 8 years, right? So this is important. It also states the last 4 digits of the Social Security number. Okay, so again, I just want to put a pin in this rule, rule number 1005. Okay, so let me go to the other section that I want to read from, and we're going to scroll all the way down to rule 9037, which is privacy protection for filings made with the court. Okay, bankruptcy rule 9037. Redacted filings, right? Unless the court orders otherwise, in an electronic or paper filing made with the court that contains an individual's Social Security number, taxpayer identification number, or birth date, the name of an individual other than the debtor known to be and identify as a minor, or a financial account number, a party or non-party making the filing may include only the last 4 digits of the Social Security number and taxpayer identification number, the year of the individual's birth, the minor's initials, and the last 4 digits of the financial account number. So there's a few issues here, right? There's a few issues that I see just by reading this statement. Okay, now let's look at the word minor. Okay, the legal definition of a minor, I'll just pull this over. All states define an age of majority, usually 18. Persons younger than this age are considered minors and must be under the care of a parent or guardian unless they are emancipated. Minors are treated differently from adults for many legal purposes, including privacy of official records, punishment in criminal matters, and the ownership or transfer of property. And I'm just highlighting probably the most important statement in that paragraph in terms of the ownership or transfer of property. Now, I don't know if you all have heard me say this before, but I know that I've said it on a few of my videos in terms of us being able to come into our age of majority, meaning we know how to now properly conduct business, we know how to assert ourselves as a federally protected consumer. We have taken control of our legal person. We have gotten our affairs in order, and we now know how to manage and operate and control the legal person that was assigned to us at birth. So when I look at the list of things that we need to do in order to come into our age of majority, that, in my opinion, would include ownership or transfer of property. Property can be defined as many things, one of which is the name is your property. You were born with a surname and a given name. The government took that and they turned it into a legal name, first, middle, and last name, but that is to be considered your property. So when we enter into different agreements, it's really us signing over property that belongs to us because we have ownership rights in the name, right? So if we do not properly know how to transfer property, then in my opinion, The government is going to treat us like a minor because we're still operating out of our minor account. We have not taken the necessary steps to take control of the legal person. We don't know how to conduct business. We don't know how to assert ourselves. And so when this happens, they feel as though they have to step in and conduct your affairs on your behalf. For example, if you have a court case, they're always trying to push the fact that you need an attorney, because in their eyes, you are still operating in your minor account. You have not stepped into your age of majority. So therefore, you need someone else to step in to handle handle the affairs that you're not able to handle on your own, right? So under my interpretation of what a minor is, we're speaking specifically about the way that a minor is being treated in terms of privacy. That's just my interpretation. Someone else may say otherwise. And it's fine. And if you do, I want you to drop your comments into this video once it renders, right? Okay. So it says known to be and identified as a minor or financial account number or party or non-party making the filing may include only. And it tells you what it can only include. That's pretty much what it tells you. It says the last 4 digits of the Social Security number. So if you are trying to work towards getting a bankruptcy removed off of your consumer report, these are important things to know in terms of how the system views you and your ability to handle your own affairs, and what the bankruptcy court actually does with the information that is being submitted in your case, right? And what they allow to be exposed on the record. Okay, so it says the last 4 digits of your Social Security number, right? Now, if you all, take a look at your consumer report, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, typically you will see the name and the case number. There's not a lot of information available, like literally at all. It literally just goes under the public record section of your consumer report, and it really just gives basic information, right? And so then what happens is that all of the accounts that have been filed in the bankruptcy petition are then designated as included in the bankruptcy, right? Now, that's with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So let's take it a step further. Who's actually reporting this information to the big three? Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Because the bankruptcy courts do not report to the consumer reporting agencies. They don't report. Ask yourself a question. If the bankruptcy courts do not report to the consumer reporting agencies, then who's actually reporting this information? I have the answer for that. The name of the company is called LexisNexis. Now, a lot of you may be familiar with LexisNexis or not, and that is perfectly fine if you're not familiar, right? But LexisNexis is a company that reports public record items, or well, they sell your information. They sell public record items to the big three. They sell your information to Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Okay. So it's important for you to know what exactly is showing up on your LexisNexis report, right? And so in order for you to know, one of the first steps you want to take is to order the report. So this is the LexisNexis website. So I will link this website down in the description section of this video so that you can go ahead and request a copy of your LexisNexis report if you have a public record item or bankruptcy that is currently reporting. That is going to be one of the first things that you want to take a look at, because it's literally going to give you all of the details that they have pulled from Pacer, right? Pacer is a system in which all court cases are it's like a database of court cases. And so a lot of big corporations have access to Pacer for many reasons, right? When I used to work at in corporate America back in my early days, I actually worked in the bankruptcy department of Bank of America, and Pacer was part of my BAU. It was something that I had to look at every single day in order to verify when a customer was in bankruptcy, because there was certain things that we had to do on their mortgage if they were in bankruptcy, right? So Pacer, they're pulling the information from, right? And that's basically just the public access to court electronic records, right? Just to give you an idea of what that is. So here's the website for Pacer. Now you can request access to Pacer, but you have to pay in order to have that access, right? Most people won't necessarily get a login for Pacer unless it's a pressing issue, unless it's really, really necessary. You're not just going to be paying a fee to have access to Pacer unless you really have a need to, right? But this is where LexisNexis is getting their information from. They're pulling all of the public record items directly from Pacer, where they're getting it from. All right. So yeah, I would definitely recommend ordering your LexisNexis report. When you do, let me just tell you, it is going to blow your mind, and it will probably be, depending on how old you are, anywhere from 60 to 70 pages in excess of 100 pages, because LexisNexis literally stores information dating back way back. It is going to be a lot of information. So just be prepared, embrace yourself, to sort of absorb what is happening here, right? All of your information is being shared, is being bought, is being sold, and you should be mad, you should be angry about it, but you should also feel empowered because that is money on the table, right? Okay, so let me get back to the purpose of this video. Now, in terms of getting the bankruptcy removed off of your consumer report, now this process that I am describing. It's an old process. It's not new. A lot of people who do credit repair have used this process. It's not a new process, right? But it's an effective process. That's why I'm bringing it up. Now, the key, and there's multiple ways to get bankruptcies removed, right? I'm giving you probably the most practical way without having to go too deep into the law. This is probably going to be the most practical. It takes a little bit of time depending on how the consumer reporting agencies respond and how you assert yourself in the matter, right? So firstly, you're going to want to place a freeze on your LexisNexis report, because the idea is to suppress them from being able to report the information, right? And so how do we do that? We go to the LexisNexis website and we go ahead and submit a request online to go ahead and place the freeze, right? Request a security freeze. So that's where you want to go. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. While you're requesting the freeze, I would definitely order a copy of the report, do both at the same time, right? Just, go ahead and knock it out and get that done. Okay. So that's step one. That's step one. And you may want to look at the list of any additional consumer reporting agencies that are selling information to the big three, to suppress them as well, because there's multiple ones. There's multiple, right? Some of the more popular ones is SageStream, Innovis, Factor Trust, Clarity Services, CoreLogic, right? Now, getting back to those old addresses, I'm a firm believer that your consumer report should have one name, one address, one employer, one telephone number, period. Everything else should come off. So take the necessary steps to go ahead and clean that information up. Refer back to the video that I did called How to Clean Your Consumer Report in 48 Hours. And the information in that video is going to help you clean up your personal information, but you really can just call them on the phone and get those items removed, right? In terms of your address, any old addresses, any previous addresses, you want to let them know. Say, hey, listen, I am not able to receive mail via the United States Postal Service to this address. Mail is non-deliverable to me at this address. This address is inaccurate. Be sure to use the term inaccurate. Inaccurate. You have to use that word because that's the word that they're looking for. Just say inaccurate. Oh, they're going to say, oh, well, we show that, they're going to ask you, well, did you previously live at this address? It doesn't matter if you live there or not. It's inaccurate. Further delivery of mail to that address is leaving you susceptible to identity theft, right? You have to let them know you're leaving me susceptible to identity theft and you're going to be liable. You're going to be liable, right? So you have to let them know. So all old addresses, they need to come off. They need to come off. Now, go back and make sure the address that you used when you filed your bankruptcy is one of those addresses that you get deleted from your consumer report because you need it gone, right? You need that address to be gone. That's going to be key. We need that address gone, right? And then also, you can even take it a step further because remember, all of those accounts that are showing as included in bankruptcy, you're going to want to notify those creditors as well that your address has changed because those lenders are reporting the address that they have on file, right? They're reporting that address. So if you have any active open accounts, you definitely want to reach out to those lenders and get that address corrected with those people, right? So you're going to work to get that address removed, all right? And make sure you notify all of your creditors. You want to clean up all variations of your name that does not currently appear on your driver's license. And you want to make sure that your driver's license address, the address that's on your license is up to date. That's very important. Very, very, very important. Make sure that the address on your license is up to date because this represents your principal dwelling and it also represents your estate. So we want to make sure that that address is current where you're conducting business is also showing on the driver's license because the driver's license is evidence that you, the natural person, is in possession of the legal person. You are in control of the legal person, and the driver's license evidences that. So we want to make sure that the information on the license is 100% accurate. 100% accurate. I cannot stress that enough. Right? Now, this is saying that they can only furnish the last 4 digits of the Social Security number, the year of the individual's birth, the year. It doesn't even say the month and the day. Do you know how many people out here have the same name and the same date of birth? So what this is telling me is that they basically did eeny, meeny, miny, mo and they went and found someone with the same last 4 digits and the year that you were born, but how can they substantiate that? You should be questioning, how did you validate this bankruptcy? How did you validate it? How did you verify it? Because validate and verify are two totally different things. These are questions that we should be asking, right? Because what's going to end up happening is you should be able to call and say, listen, there is evidence that I filed bankruptcy, but I don't know if this is accurate. I don't believe that this is accurate. This is inaccurate. This is definitely inaccurate. Now, one other important factor, like I said earlier, the bankruptcy courts, they do not report to the consumer reporting agencies. It's important to get that in writing, right? So if you call your bankruptcy court and you ask that question over the phone, say, hey, I have an entry on my consumer report that's saying that I filed bankruptcy in your district. I'm curious to know how this happened because pursuant to Rule 9037, only the last 4 digits of the debtor's social security number can be reported, right? Due to the privacy redaction. So I just need a little bit of help. Can you tell me if the bankruptcy court reports to the consumer reporting agencies? And I can guarantee you 100% of the time, it's not even 99.9, it's like 100% of the time, they're going to say, nope, we don't report. Okay, okay. But you want to get that in writing. So if you call them and they tell you over the phone that they do not report, see if they can mail you a copy of something in writing stating that they do not report. If they're telling you that they can't mail you anything, go ahead and get the name of the individual that you're speaking with, the full name, their employee ID number, and you're going to create a record that you called them, transcribe the telephone call, name names, date and timestamp it, right? Because you can create your own records as well if they won't send you anything in writing. If you're not going to call, then you drive down to the bankruptcy court, walk up to the bankruptcy clerk and ask the same question, see if they can give you something in writing. And typically, well, a good amount of the time, they may already have something written up. They may just pass it to you over the counter. They may just have like a template or a form letter that says that they don't report, because they don't. If not, and the clerk verbally tells you that they don't report, ask her if they can mail you something or email you something stating that they don't report. Either way, you want to try to get that in writing, right? We want to go ahead and try to get that in writing. Very, very, very important. Now, once you've gotten that address removed off of your consumer report and you have the letter from the bankruptcy court stating that they do not report to the consumer reporting agencies, now you have the ammunition that you need to go ahead and dispute that bankruptcy off of your credit by constructing your letter, formulating your argument, submitting your evidence, right? And getting that removed. If you want this done sooner than later, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is used as a communications portal. You can submit your disputes there, and you're doing a total of 4 disputes: TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, and LexisNexis, right? And you can dispute the public record as someone with similar name, right? Because that's actually one of the options when you go and dispute it. Someone with similar name. Now, each consumer reporting agency is going to respond differently, but you just gotta stay persistent and do not stop until that bankruptcy has been deleted from the public record section of your consumer reports, every single last one, right? So your letter may go something like this. My name is John Doe. I'm writing you because an entry appears on my credit report, which states that I filed a bankruptcy in your district. Could you please explain to me how this might occur? Because from my understanding, only the last 4 digits of the debtor's social security number are released to third parties pursuant to Rule 9037, right? Any information you can provide would be greatly appreciated. This is what that would sound like. Even if you're having a verbal conversation with someone, that's what that conversation would would sound like. Now, work very hard to get that bankruptcy removed. And after you do, once the bankruptcy is removed, then all of the subsequent accounts that are showing on your consumer report that are showing as included in bankruptcy, it will be just as easy to get those accounts removed. Because what bankruptcy? Now that that bankruptcy is gone, it's like, well, what bankruptcy are you talking about? I didn't file bankruptcy, right? That's it. That's it. So I recommend going and reading Rule 9037, read the entire rule, right? And then also go back and read rule number 1005. Both are equally as important, right? And then also, just look to see what information you can get from the clerk. It's very important. So I hope that this information was helpful. If you do try this strategy, definitely come back and provide your testimonies. I want to hear results on your journey in terms of getting your bankruptcy removed. Just let me know how it goes, because I want to know if this has been successful or not. Now, if you have another process on getting the bankruptcy removed, share that with us in the comment section of this video. We're interested to know. Definitely share it with other members of the Ready Nation, so that we can get to work, because the ultimate goal is to get everything that we need. We are federally protected consumers and we have a right to privacy. But even though we have the right to privacy, a lot of these companies will not do right by us. So we have to make them. And that means that it's important to learn how to properly assert ourselves, right? And so this is chess, not checkers. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, when we're speaking to people and we're sending out these letters, it's almost like we have to try to anticipate what their next move is going to be. Because the consumer reporting agencies, typically, they're going to come back with the same responses every time. You just got to be ready. You just want to be ready, right? So again, I hope this information was beneficial. I did want to make another announcement that the private Facebook group is up and running, and we have been approving members of Ready Nation into the Facebook group this week. I'm asking that you all be patient, because we want to ensure that we have the Google form filled out, and that you're properly registered in the system before we will approve you. We've been getting some requests that have come in. Please, please, please ensure that you're answering all of the membership questions when you request access to the group. All questions should be answered in full. And definitely fill out the Google form, because that is going to help us approve you more expeditiously. So we want to go ahead and get you in there so that we can get to work. So I will also link the Facebook group down in the description section of this video. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. That's all I have for you all this evening. And again, I hope this information was beneficial. Definitely like, share, and comment on this video. And until next time, or until I see you in the Ready Nation Facebook group. My name is Tamara T. Bush, and I'm out. Deuces.